All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you're tuning in, let me know where you're watching from. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Julie. Morning, Second. Morning, Landy. Morning, TG. Morning, Stacker. Daily Profiler. Midnight Open. Let's go. Morning, Victor. Morning, Pat. Morning, Mickey.
What's up, bud?
Check.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Dude, you had the techno pump going on this whole, and now you went from techno pump in the club to let's hang out on the elevator and drink espresso. Like, what happened?
We're actually gonna be hopefully here soon. One of our very own PTFX. He's gonna give us some way better copyright-free music that we can get added here.
Nice.
We'll have some actual good music.
We just changed the words to "Higher" by Creed.
Yeah.
Can you take me upper?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, real quick, if you guys can, we're about to get into our analysis, trade ideas. We got the gunship up and running this week. So while we're going to be live trading, we're also going to be streaming the gunship and how it's going to be doing throughout the day. If you guys get value from this stream, we go through everything. We don't hide anything. So if you guys have any questions of anything we're looking at, if you're wondering why the heck we placed a line there, why did we draw a box there, let us know in the chat.
Well, I have a question.
What's your question, Mickey?
What is the gunship?
What is the gunship? The gunship, in a very simplified manner for anybody that's new here, is it's taking advantage of high probabilistic price movements from bell to bell. So there's specific measured moves that I've inputted into like a multi-strategy portfolio. And this is something that's been kind of a project now going on for a little over a year of just trying to find a way to get the processes and the objective statistics that I like to trade and put it together in an algorithmic portfolio. And so now we finally got it into a full-blown NinjaTrader script that we can stream as it gets into trades, as it's looking for trade opportunities. You can see the different instruments it has as a portfolio. So if you guys are looking at the screen, it's actually this little bad boy right here, little gun shipper. All right, so we'll reference that as we get later into the stream. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Vinay? What's up, EP? What's up, Carl? I hope you had a great weekend. What's up, Brooke? Good morning, Brooke. Morning, Dave. Shout out to Dave and Jeff. They're actually the ones helping host the servers here, so we can actually have a clean gunship performance instead of my Wi-Fi. All right, so we're gonna get to a little bit of analysis here, and this is actually the first time I'm opening the chart, because on Mondays now we're gonna be doing these on YouTube, and so I'm waiting to do my. If you guys follow me on Twitter, what is it? AC_trades_YT. Every morning I've been posting my analysis and my trade ideas based on what my analysis is. Oh my God, who just did that?
What's that noise?
I don't know. What?
There it goes. It was
somebody
it was a
in the background's messing around the.
It was a rainforest.
One of y'all are messing with the music.
It wasn't me. I don't even know how to do that.
Oh my God, dude! What is that? Stop!
You're on an elevator. Now you're in a hurricane.
What is? I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know what's happening.
Pocket, what's going on, dude? Turn that music off.
I don't know why there's rain playing.
I don't either. and we're back in the elevator.
Guys, I don't.
Who's frying bacon? I like that, Carl. Somebody was frying
All
bacon.
right.
In the
Well, if it's not
background.
pocket, it's random.
It's not me. I don't even have access to be able to do that.
All right. So random. Build me my shopping list. Daggone it.
All right, share my screen.
God bless.
Good.
Good. All right. Well, let me get over to my analysis, and then I'll share it. My bad, dude. You got me off my train of thought. You got I'm all kerflunkled now. I don't know even if that's a word. I just made it up.
Kerflunkle.
Right. So, get my bullish footprints here because we're below statistics to the downside. Drop down to the 5-minute time frame. Look at our highs and lows. Currently, we have a low set at 325. This is of the 4 times to make an in statistic low of day. This is the lowest, but this is currently an in statistic low of day. Then we got a high of day right here made at 2015. This is an out of statistic high of day. We don't normally make a high of day on the daily candle at 2015. This is our P12 mid. P12 mid is the midpoint between 1800 and 6 a.m. This is a very high probabilistic price level that gets retraced more than it doesn't. This is midnight open. Midnight open gets retraced 65 to 68% of the time between 8 to noon EST. What's going on, Zay? Morning, Zay. And then one cool indicator that we have within the pack trade group that shows us statistical retracements stacked on top of the opening prices is opening prices 1 through 7. And then these levels right here that show us statistical retracements within the market by the end of the day. Let me see here. Let me get this turned down just a little bit. Yo, Pocket, I don't know how to turn this music down. It's showing that there's no music playing on my end. So I don't, somebody,
weird. It's not playing on my end either.
I don't know where this music's coming from, to be honest. But if you could figure that out, that would be great. It's pretty loud.
It's Napster.
Napster?
Just kidding.
Oh,
nice. All right.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Dude, that was driving me nuts. Yeah, it sounded very faint to you guys, but it was very loud in my. I don't know. It's like there's not like a very chill setting on the volume. I don't know why. All right. So these levels here, like I was saying, these show us that on the 5-minute time frame, we get about 75 samples of look back. And within that 75 samples, you can see like this level has been hit 93% of the time, starting at 7 a.m. going back till market close. Same thing for the red ones, but they're bearish, right? So what these allow us to see is when we're over in a single direction, we're overextended in a single direction within levels above or below price. And then the opening prices 1 through 7 a.m., they get retraced more than they don't. So I also take them into consideration to see how overextended we are for a specific retracement going into the market open. So what we see today is that we have an in-stat low of day. We broke through the P12 mid in the pre-market. Okay, we have not came back and tested the P12 mid with midnight opening prices 1 through 7 a.m. all stacked above, and the only thing below price right now is 2 bearish levels. So where we're struggling and we're in this bullish footprint right now, if we're struggling going into the market open to come down here and we're actually taking the rest of these bearish levels, The first major trade idea that I want to put on today is the fact that if we make an in statistic, like we trade this low of day for a new low of day at market open, so we make an in statistic low of day somewhere within this bullish footprint, I will be looking for extended cash flow longs to the upside for a retracement back to this P12 mid. One thing that I always like to point out for you guys is when we see small little nuances that have like really good probability attached to them, I like to point them out. And now that we're getting these streams here, we can get this recorded. One thing that I love going into market open, one thing that I love, and you guys can note this down and go back and back test it for yourself, is when the P12 mid is left floating above or below market open. So like, and when I say floating, meaning you see how we haven't retraced it yet. So there's only two major times that we like to hit this P12 mid, and that's obviously in the pre-market here around 6 to 7 a.m. But then if we start failing around now, the final time to do so is around market open. And so if we leave the P12 mid open going into market open, we continue to the downside here, this is going to be even more of a factor for a reason for me to extend my TP to target a large portion towards the overall move, which is P12 mid and midnight open all the way up here. All right. And again, like I said, we're in this huge bullish footprint. So any type of long inside of this area is even more context for me to look for extended cash flow longs. Now, the flip side to that, if we don't come down here and continue to the downside and we're actually going to start correcting now, what are we going to be doing going into market open? We're going to be leaving a bunch of statistics to the downside. Right now, you can even see on the 5-minute, we're stacking 3 major levels to the downside as we speak. And so if we go into the pre-market here, going into market open, and we're actually starting to correct and take out these bullish statistics to the upside, which you can see we're trying to do that right now, then if we open up the market open somewhere around the P12 mid, I'll be looking for cash flow longs towards the rest of the statistics to the upside, or I'll be looking for cash flow shorts to the downside for the rest of the final statistics. So that's going to be my trade ideas going into market open. If we open up the market around P12 mid, I'll just be looking for cash flow trades off the market open towards the remaining statistics. The SpongeBob foaming at the mouth scenario, and just as a disclaimer, I don't get these. I get these probably, I'd say, half the time. And that's just when everything is aligned. And in this example here, what I see is if we break to the downside, leaving all statistics to the upside, and we open up the market somewhere around here, that way I can get an extended cash flow along to the upside. So those are my trade ideas, random. Pass it off to you, my friend.
All right, good stuff. So before I do my analysis on the NQ, I want to make sure that we are set up for success for the algo, the gunship, right? So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to do a quick exercise on what the daily profile is going to turn on and off from these assets. Assets 6E, Bitcoin, crude oil, ultra bonds, gold, copper, ES, NQ, YM, RTY. So I'm going to do a quick scrub starting with 6E to see, like, did this put in a statistical high or low that's just dominant, right? So that way we can turn the gunship, that part of the portfolio, on directionally. Or did it make its final move? And that's what it is. So we're going to come over to the daily profile, reset.
Right before you say that, it's funny that we are doing this now. I don't know if you guys heard, if that picked up on the YouTube side when you guys heard order canceled. We just hit TP on another gunship trade as we were going into our analysis.
Nice. Nice. So 6E was short focused in the Asia session and long focus in the London session, right? So just that alone gives a dominant, like staring at you in the face, that 3 to 315 could have been the low of the day, or 1800 can be the high of the day. Does it have that, right? So it doesn't have either one of those, right? So there's nothing there yet, right? So now we need to see if the if-then statement to lock in this low of the day, right? That happened at 2050 to 0.16, right? Is there a scenario that New York 1 can do to give that more of a dominant low of the day between 2000 to 2150 as your So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and just go long true. Nope, that still has a 3 o'clock dominant low of the day. Long false, still dominant 3 o'clock low of the day. Short true, dominant 3 o'clock or 9:30 to 12:15 low of the day, and then false. So 6E we're going to do a hard pass on, right? Doesn't mean we can't trade it that day. Absolutely not. But the whole purpose of this is to get the very directional assets just to have the gunship firing those measured moves with, right? So coming over to Bitcoin, all right, we can see it has an 1850 low of the day and a 2 o'clock high of the day, right? So we can see that it was somewhat contradicting, right? So we were definitely short in Bitcoin overnight, and now we're going to see, is this the low of the day or the high of the day that can be backed by statistic, right? So we're going to go short, true, open, short, false, London, and then broken, right? And we can see the one dominant piece, right? We can't identify a proper low of the day, but we can properly identify a high of the day, right? This 1800 high of the day is enough for us to say, you know what, regardless what New York 1 does, which is short right now, so we got another clue to the puzzle. So we can go over to New York 1 and say short. And then so from 7:30 to 11:30, what's the probability of it staying short? And you can see right here is a 63% probability of being true versus false, meaning it will stay short. Right. So now this high of the day looks a lot more dominant, right? So now we're going to go over to the shopping list. We're going to come to Monday. We're going to put Bitcoin, right? Yes. We're going to do shorts, cash flow, P12 high will be the invalidation. Now that does not mean that the gunship's just going to start taking shorts right now. Like all 13 gunship trades, right, have been measured independently. Those statistics have been completely independently on, you know, like, do they make the moves without any kind of filtering or any kind of tampering or anything whatsoever? Can these moves sustain any kind of market environment or volatility condition, right? Whether the VVIX is blowing up or we're in a ranger market or a trending market, a reversal market, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like the moves that the gunship fires off of sustains all of those, right? And then this is just the cherry on the cake that this part of the portfolio gets to do is like, hey, these are like foaming at the mouth, you know, setups, right? All right, so we got that. Let's go over to crude oil. Right, we can see a 240 high of the day and an 8 o'clock low of the day. We can see that Asia was long and London was short, so they're contradicting each other. Usually when you see that, you're going to get like a low of the day and a high of the day after the RTH open, right? So let's see what data says. Go over to crude oil, reset, long true broken, short true. And we can see that there's a dominant 1800 low of the day. We didn't go to the mode to median of where the low of the day, we didn't go to the mode to median. We need to come down a little bit more, which points us to the fact that it's more than likely is going to make a low of the day at this secondary mode between 10:45 and 11, or that high of the day was put in, right? The high of the day was put in 0.4 to 0.99. So yeah, this high of the day can be validated, right? So it's simple, right? Like we can take shorts off of this with a little less risk, right, than typical. So we will do such, right? Because we can justify that high of the day from a time and price standpoint is a statistical high of the day. Nope, wrong website. And then P12 high, normal targets, normal position size. So moving on to the next one, reset. come over to gold. All right, and we can see gold now has has been just long since Asia, long true in London, and now this can go short false, which isn't a real characteristic of gold. So let's put in long true, right? And we can see that 1800 is supported with a very, very nice low of the day. Now, gold is one of those assets where the gunship usually trades overnight for us because it's more directional overnight than it is during the RTH. As you can see right here, high of the day is from 10 to 10:15. So the only thing that would make this worth trading, right? Because we do have stats, right? We have stats to the downside, just like Nasdaq, just like every asset. Like we have retracement stats, whether it's settlement, midnight, Globex, right? One of these P12 levels, like there are stats, right? And there's two. The reason why this is a great day for gold is either going to continue the longs, or it's going to retrace, net off of one of these prices, but then end of the day higher, right? So we can definitely take a stab at gold longs. Where is my to-do list? Right here. Because now going back to the data real quick, because gold is the way it is, it's pretty easy, right? So we say if New York goes short, right, then we can see that there's a definite high of the day coming out. So now we can put our invalidation point, right, of gold longs right underneath right here. Because if we go short, it's going to fire a cracker and the high of the day is more than likely in. So we're going to do London OU or New York 1's fixed constant as the invalidation for gold. So we don't have to put it all the way down here. We'll know instantly if we start selling off, like we're going to firecracker heavy. And that's going to remove us from any possible longs and fighting the actual momentum of, the New York session. London OU. Does that make sense, Austin? So you can set that up?
Yes, sir. Yep,
All
I'm
right.
getting everything set up now. I'm getting Bitcoin added as we speak.
All right, now let's do bonds, ultra bonds. So it's a 130 and a 730, right? And if this is a short true New York, right, we're going to more likely continue down, but let's see what data has to say. Go to daily profile, go to bonds, reset. Right, we can see that overnight has been more of a range, right? Asia went short, London went long, right? So usually that points to, a range of market where we put the low day, high day in all after the RTH. So it might not be worth the squeeze to target those, but let's see. Short tree broken. But like the cool thing about the gunship is like knowing that like this has a possibility to put in a low day, high day all within RTH. Like I can come over and manually trade this. Right, so we're gonna skip bonds today because as you can see, there's no directional, like 1800 could have been the high of the day. Well, there's no 1800 high of the day. 830 to 845 can be the high of the day. We're not even planning that. It was at 730 and now we went short. So now we get another piece of the pie while I was talking. Right, so we can go short. And what we can see is there's 63% probability that bonds will stay short true then to make a new high of the day, right? So we're going to leave bonds alone today because, this is more designed for a manual based trader. All right, let's go over to copper, our last one, and then we'll start NQ. And the cool thing about the gunship is that it like hedges my manual trades. It either adds to my manual trades or it hedges them. right? If I do bad as a manual trader, right, like that thing's my recovery plan, right? So Asia was short, London was long, but ultimately we ranged, right? So let's put those criteria in. Long pause. And copper is usually directional, but overnight it was not. And then we just went short, right? We stay short true more than we go false. Can we support it with the high of the day? Well, we can see right here 21 to 21.15 is the supported high of the day. And we have a 21.15. So we are going to put on shorts for copper, right? And it went 0.39. Let's check it from a price standpoint, is right there at the edge of the mode to median of price. So we can go on and put on copper shorts. And if we're wrong, we'll get invalidated instantly. P12 high, normal. All right. So with that being said, the gunship will be firing cash flowing targets and regular position size for Bitcoin shorts, crude oil shorts, gold longs, and copper shorts, right? So now you can see how they kind of are going to hedge each other out because of the correlation between the assets, right? And then whichever one has the home run will have the home run and add to our portfolio. So I'm excited to see how this does today because this was a very unique day for the gunship. So that's going to be cool. All right, now let's move on to NQ, right? So we're above previous month 50% and NFP Friday, right? So whenever we do that, we know we're trend directional and we expect 70% green days and 30% red days. Why does that matter for an intraday trader? Well, we know that 30% of the days are going to be red. And as you can see, this month alone has been respecting that stat a lot, right? But it can also let you know, like if you're expecting a green day or a red day, right? How many days in between green? How many days can it be green before it goes red? What should I be expecting for lower day, right? Well, if I'm expecting it to be more times than not a green day when we meet the condition of being above NFP Friday and previous month 50%, then I know that majority of the time the low of the day will happen overnight during those dominant times, right? 1800, 03 to 04, 9:30 to 10:30, and the high of the day will be in the afternoon, right? So we see that that is the scenario we have playing out this month, right? We come over the lock in lows of weeks and highs of weeks. One thing that we'll notice is that we instantly rejected previous week's wick, right? From the high to the close of the week, we rejected it overnight. We stepped below 18 to 1930, right? Sunday, 18 to 1930. And then this fancy little red box right here, right, is a statistical measurement tool, right? We can see that over the last year, right, we've gotten to this red box 44% of the time, right? However, we've only hit that red box to the upside 15 out of the 56 weeks, right? So 26% of the time, right? And so now we've got to start thinking, is this red box going to reject price, right? Is it going to reject price? We already have only hit this red box 58% of the time in the last year. And out of that 58% of the time, it's only hit it on a Monday, 28% of the time, right? So now the fact that we've rejected previous week footprint overnight, we stepped below Sunday to 18 to 1930. Do we have a possibility to sell off? Well, if we look and maybe put the low of the week in, maybe, you know, that was the high of the week. Who knows? It's too early in the week to tell. We're not trying to be market gurus and predictors. We're just people who know what the probabilities are. So now what we have to say is, what are the probabilities of the levels to the downside, right? So now if we go to the 1.5, which would be 1.5, we've already hit that. So we've already hit the 82% level. Now we're going to go to the 1%. which is right here. So this 1% level right here that is below previous week 75 has been hit 91% of the time in the last year, right? Majority of the times that 1% gets hit is on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday, right? Because we have not hit it this week. And now we're going to go to 0.5, which has been hit 54% of the time, which is so now from a weekly perspective, we have targets that are 90%, 94% of the time being hit, right? That could lead to maybe this is the high of the week for now, and our job is to go hit these levels and make a new low of the week or do continuation down. Who knows? We're not here to predict markets. We're just here to put probabilities on our charts and to trade the live price around them, right? We do know this much to be true, that over the last 56 weeks, the last year to date, these two levels have been hit above 90% of the time. All right. So now let's get into the daily profile, right? Which will put more of the intraday probabilities in. We have a 325 low of the day. We have a 2015 high of the day. And we have gone directionally. This is either short, false, or a long true or long false. And our job is going to be using oh, fuck yeah, midnight PP. Let's go. I love the midnight opening.
Dude, I didn't even know we had a bullish
We
distribution.
did. This is like right when you're talking.
Oh man, I must have missed it. Yeah.
You
that
did
sucked.
miss it. I did not.
Good trade, man.
I just like hit in and forget it. Where is it? Right here. So where's it? 8 o'clock? It was at 8:22. And then measured move 0.12. I guess it didn't hit yet. Oh well. It's on its way. All right, back to doing the daily profile. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. All right, so we know that this is either going to be a short false or it's going to be a long true or a long false. And our job is to identify how much stats solidify this 325 low of the day and how many stats solidify the 2015 high of the day. Right out the gate, right, I can tell you this much. Let's go to NQ. All right, and we can see that Asia was short, a long false, and London did its move beforehand, so I have no edge there. And then like we go short true, right? That supports that 20 to 2015 high of the day. But it's kind of impossible to go short true because we already broke out to the upside and the downside. So we know that that has to go away, right? So if we go short false, which is what it currently is registered as, we can see that there's a high day, a huge high day probability, or huge low of the day, my bad, low of the day probability between 8:30 and 9:30 to 9:45, right? And then it leads to an end of day high day.
I like that. I like the sound of that, baby.
However, because we did this thing called a one tick wonder, right? Meaning we only broke out to one tick and then went instantly to the other side. We do have to consider a long true versus a long false. Well, I'll tell you what, right? Like a long true is going to support this 325 low of the day. So let's look at that right now, right? Actually, a long true supports the 8:15 to 8:30 low of the day, and you have mediocre data from that 3, right? And then end of day high of day. So the likelihood of this happening, not so much, right? And then we can see that New York 1, once it breaks out to the upside, is 70% of the time is false versus 29% true. So now let's look at the long false scenario, right? and see what probabilities, number one, Asia has. Asia, OU, has a 91% probability. 91%, right? So that's the midpoint of Asia, right? However, like you can see, we've already dropped off from a time perspective. So if we can't hit it by 10, like we're not going to hit it. All right, let's look at the low day, high day. We can see, and this is what's kind of creepy, right? For a long false, all right, it's either put in the low of the day in between 10 to 10:15 to lead to a high of the day, or it's going to do this move right here. We're going to rip up the P12 high, 9:30 to 10:15. We're going to place the high of the day, and then we're going to make the low of the day by the end of the day, right? Which seems a little bit more feasible, right? So basically, what it's saying is, let me get my measurement. We're going to move up 111 handles, which we do have the distro for it, between 9:30 and 10:15, and then put a reversal in. However, like it doesn't have to. So let's see where else we can net from. Well, we know this P12 mid, right, has a probability. And we know that these time-based settlement, Globex, and midnight, and this Asia OU get probabilities too, right? So if we're going to do the long false game, we're either going to come up to here and reject. So let's see what the probabilities of that is. We can see that with the long false, there's a 97% probability of that being hit, right? The problem is like the secondary mode is between 9:30 and 9:45. So we pop up and then we reverse, and then we come and we take the P12 low between 9:45 and 10, right? Let's look at these other probabilities. Let's say we want to do gap fill and come all the way up this settlement and then make the reversal, right? That's saying that on a Monday, we're going to move up 100 handles and then move back down 100 handles. This can definitely be achieved, right? It definitely can be achieved, but let's see what the probabilities of these are under this condition. Right, we can see that they all have above all the time-based probabilities, settlement, Globex, midnight, all have above average probabilities. Usually like midnight's between 65 and 70, it has an 82% probability, with the mode being 9:30 9:45. Globex open usually have a 70 or a 60 to 65% probability. It has an 82 today, with this probability being between 9:30 and 9:45. Right? Settlement has a 75%. This is usually 55 to 60% of the time. Now it's 75, and the mode when it happens is between 9:30 and 9:45. We go by day of the week, right? We can see 25% of gap fill, 50%, 75% of gap fill all have extended increased probabilities of being hit today, right? All happening between 9:30 and 9:45. So there definitely is a potential for us to move 100 handles up and then back down, right? And then spin, so 9 o'clock hour moves up, and then 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock hour brings us back down, right? That is a possibility, right? So how do we not get our brain, let me move this back to where it goes, to just get directional, right? We use something called the 4-step reversal. Right, I'm just going to do some drawing. This is going to represent the 9 o'clock hour, right? This is going to represent the 9 o'clock hour. So this would be the high of the 9 o'clock hour. This would be the midpoint, the halfback, the CE, whatever you want to call it, the 50%, and this would be the low, right? So when 9:30 opens up, right, this is going to represent the 9:30. Right, 1 minute candle, high to low. Let's say 9:30 opens up and gives us a buy and takes us all the way up to settlement, right? As long as we're above P12 mid, right? We're going to say this is P12 mid. right? Above 930, right? I'm going to take longs, expecting 9, 10, 11 to stack higher, right? But to find the proper reversal, right? I'm going to require us to get below step 1, previous hour or 9 o'clock 50%. Step 2, 9:30 low. Step 3, 10 o'clock takes out 9 o'clock's low. And step 4, us put an instat high in the first quarter of 10 o'clock, right? I don't like the fight or counter trend trade, right? So if I am forced to counter trend trade, doesn't mean I can't start taking positions up here, right? Let's say if I needed to engage with 10 micros today to the short side, right? And I get, like, let's say we get a breaker or something, or like whatever kind of entry that gets us in shorts up here, right? And I have to engage with 10 micros, right? My job is not to shoot all 10 micros right here, right? But to add to the position, right? Because if I shoot and I'm wrong, I'm paying the price for 10 micros. And I don't even have confirmation, live price confirming that we are going to reverse. I just have an entry criteria telling me, hey, expect a reversal, right? And that's not enough for me to manage risk with. Like, you can die by 1,000 paper cuts doing that, right? So we can start with, maybe we get a random entry signal that says, hey, expect a short, right? So 2, maybe this is the 9 o'clock footprint, right? Or wick, and we rejected 50% of it, right? And that's my criteria of saying, hey, start a position short, right? 2's there. Because if I am right about this, I have the rest of the day, or at least the next 3 hours, to leech off of this information. And I could add 2 more at previous hour 50% or 9:30 low. And I can, as 10 o'clock comes up and it retraces back to the 9:30 low or the previous 9 o'clock 50%, I can add the rest of the position. And that way I can manage my risk on this counter trend trade a little bit more efficiently and effectively. All right. So with that being said, my game plan going into this market is to see if price wants to net here at the P12 mid, and see if price wants to net, or if it doesn't net here and reverse here at the P12 mid, right, and it wants to keep going, then to pay attention to, does the reversal happen here? Between Globex Open settlement or P12 high and Asia OU, does it want to reverse there? If it does not want to reverse, and like, then my job is to stay long focused and accept the fact that this is a high probability low of the day, right? So my if-then statements will be surrounded by this P12 mid and then the reversal process that I just told you about. All right, so let me put my high day, low day data on my chart. Were there any questions about that? I don't know. I was not paying attention to the chat at all. So for a long false, high of the day between 9:30 and 10:15, 0.2 to 0.53. (9:30 to 10:15), and then low of the day, that probability will be end of day 0.4 to 0.78. And then we'll go 1500 to 1600. All right, so now that we have that in, do we have the daily distro to make this a possibility? Right, we use a 2-day mean.
Mickey,
what's up?
We got some good news I want to announce on stream.
Okay. You're having a baby?
No. We just got, so I wanted to document this for the first time. We got our first official gunship live trade, and it was a TP.
Nice.
Look at that. Copper shorts to the downside, daily profiler, aligned gunship short. So you guys literally just seen the entire process from A to Z get assembled, like right here in front of your guys' faces. If you guys just joined, you can go back and watch the beginning. Mickey went through the criteria of which instruments to turn on which side. Then I came over here, activated the gunships to execute the trades, and boom, baby. Short copper.
Nice.
All right, back to you.
Awesome. So we're approaching that P12 mid, right? So if we touch that P12 mid and we reject it right now, we're going to expect this is the highest probable price movement for the next 3 hours, 9 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock hour, 11 o'clock hour, right? That would indicate a red pill effect, meaning we start selling off right here, right now to the downside. And then 9:30 will be a continuation. 10 o'clock, we can see the 15-minute quarters get respected. And then 11 o'clock, you expect a third hour effect. What we're looking for, though, right, is the highest probability is going to be between 9:30 and 10:15 for us to pop higher, right, and then net, right? So this is a pop probability. It's the red pill effect, right? The higher probability is for us to come up here between 9:30 and 10:15 and then put the reversal in, right? So we're aware of it. And this will be easy. This will be an easy 9:30 short to take. If we are doing the red pill, right, 9:30 will develop, right? It will give us our sell. We'll take it. And that's all she wrote. Will be the easiest 9:30 trade ever, right? But we are aware of it. We're not going to pre-trade it because I don't pre-trade 9:30, right? Besides with midnight, and I've already hit TP on that. So yeah, I got that. All right, dude. I'm gonna hand it back off to you. Fuck yeah.
Good first start, man.
That makes me happy.
This is exciting. All right. So what's your summary? What do you want to? What trades do you want to look at for market open?
I'm going to be paying attention to sells, right, around the P12 mid or the P12 high to Globex open, right? This looks like an extreme range. There's only 31 handles between Asia and OU, so I've got 31 handles to try to see if it is going to put that long fall scenario in, right? And then obviously the same thing as usual. If we're above P12 mid, above 9:30, we're ripping to the upside to keep my focus on longs and then see how 10 o'clock goes. But yeah, like I'm looking for sells primarily.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. The only other thing I wanted to add is just it's Monday, so we are due for median 0.52% price movement. All right, Monday right here, 0.52, past 30 days, 6 Mondays. This is the budget for the morning session, 8 a.m. to noon. Right there, 8 a.m. to noon. And we're stacking. Yeah, I completely agree. Like we're right here, perfect, where one of two things are going to happen. I'm just going to echo exactly what Mickey was saying. If we open up around here at the P12 mid and we open the market breaking to the upside, this could be that one tick wonder, which would qualify for extended cash flow longs to the upside for potential new high of day, because this is an out of statistic high of day, which would then lock in this 3 a.m. to be in an instat low of day, even more so. But then to the flip side to that, if we open up the market around P12 mid and reject this breaking to the downside, I can adjust my targets to whatever these levels are down here. So wherever we get the entry, these levels, and then obviously New York 1 going short false, if this is not going to be a one tick wonder, that's what's going to influence my TP to the downside. Heck yeah, dude. So this is I would say for those of you watching, this is about what would you say, Mickey? Like 50, maybe 40% to 50% of what Pack TV is going to be, minus all the other traders. So you guys got our analysis this morning, the trade ideas we're going to be doing this morning. Obviously, we're going to trade live when market opens here. And we now have the gun shipping in the background. So it's coming together, baby. So we got a little bit, 10 minutes, a little bit over 10 minutes. So real quick, if you are new here, please like the stream. I don't know if it helps or not, but it makes us feel better. Join the Discord. QR code's right there. If you want to scan it, take a screenshot of it. Whatever you got to do, you can join the Discord. If you want to learn about how we trade, the next boot camp is coming up on October 18th. You can scan this QR code right here. This will take you to the checkout page. You will not be charged at checkout. You will only be charged when you get accepted. And you will all be accepted coming October 18th when the boot camp starts. We go through a 3-month process showing you guys how we trade, all the way from how to look at statistics, how to measure statistics, how to quantify this stuff, how to use the tools that we do. And then once you graduate, you can join the Pack Trade Group and watch us trade and do exactly what we do here Monday through Friday. Also, somebody asked this question. Let me see. I wanted to get to it. D3. This is a really good question. D3 says a trader should take only high probability trades, right? So shouldn't you only take the foaming in the mouth setups? Why take lower quality setups? This is something that I love talking about. And I'm always going to quote Lance Berenstein because he said it best. Like I've never heard somebody explain it this way before that was like it gets the point across. So there's just like when you go and play poker or any other card game, right? Like you're not just every single time you get dealt a hand, you're not just going to fold if you don't got the perfect hand. You're going to play the hand. Now, obviously there are situations where, yeah, you're just going to fold right away, but more often than not, you're going to try to play the hand that you're dealt. And so in the market, I'm not going to form fit my perfect scenario to the market. I'm going to form fit my risk to what the market is going to give me. Now, if the market doesn't give me a trade setup altogether, and there's many times, absolutely, there's just, I don't take a trade. But a lot of the times there still are scenarios, D3, and anybody else that has this question, there's still scenarios where there is still positive expectancy to be had. It's just not stars aligning scenario, right? Because the flip side to that, if I only take the stars aligning foaming at the mouth scenario, there's still a lot of trades that are going to hit target even when I'm not taking the trade, right? Even if it looks nasty, if it looks terrible, whatever, that still could hit TP, right? We're not these perfect beings that are just going to filter out 100% of the losses. I'm still going to lose. And so how I look at it is if there is a trade set up with just at a minimum cash flow targets that can still get hit, those are going to fill in those cracks for when I do take losses. And then the above average stars aligning, foaming at the mouth scenarios, those are when I do extend my targets more, AKA those really pay. Those are the payday or the payday trades. And then everything in between, it's just cash flow, right? So there's still cash flow to be made, AKA there's still positive expectancy. Maybe I don't have the best hand. Maybe I wasn't dealt the most perfect hand or anything, but there is still money to be made with the hand the market's giving me. And so that's why I go through, when I'm going through my analysis, I'm not looking for only if this happens, then I'm taking the trade. Because in my opinion, with how my philosophy of trading is, I'm not saying this is the right way, this is the golden ticket or anything like that. This is just my philosophy. I can only tell you what I see and what I get value from out of the market. I can't tell you that it's the only way though. But in my opinion, I feel like I bottleneck my expectancy and the earning potential that I can make as an intraday trader if I'm only waiting for the most perfect stars aligning scenario, because exactly to my point, what I said earlier, there's a lot of still positive expectancy trades to be had. Maybe they're just not as positive as when the stars align. So in this case here, we're at the P12 mid. Okay, so we're getting the second scenario that I mapped out this morning, which is if we open up the market somewhere around P12 mid, okay, then I can look for some sort of cash flow target that is orientated to these levels here. But then the flip side to that, same thing for the upside. It's either going to be cash flow longs or whatever target I can orientate to the statistics at hand to the upside, which is all these probability levels in midnight open. But the mouth-watering scenario, the scenario that I would love to put a little bit more risk on is the opposite of what we're seeing here, which is we came down to make an in-stat low of day, leaving a false open to the upside, leaving this P12 mid open. And then that way I would be putting just more risk on the trade, really. Okay, so it's not that this isn't a bad trade or I'm just taking a trade just to take it. It's just this quality right here of there's still levels above and below price versus this one here where everything is above price. It just allows me to tailor my risk to the environment versus not taking a trade altogether. So hope that makes sense, D3. It's a good question.
That was a good question. Can you hear me? My headphones battery died. So
yeah, I can hear you now.
Cool. And it's just like realistic expectations. What's the highest probability that can happen? And are you aligning with that, right? And so we know that we can make a new high a day, right? We know the probabilities of settlement, midnight, and Globex being open, right? So in most markets, because if you do the study, right, the daily classification, you're going to see that we tend to intraday range more than we trend. So you're going to be able to pull probabilities above you and below you, right? And then having that independent trade model that never got measured with how we do the daily profile on the gunship, right? What are the highest frequencies of these trades getting hit? That's why I love the gunship, because the expected value of those trades are just independently awesome, right? And so being able to do that, being able to know what systems you're turning on and off and assign them a position size, because there's certain trade models that you're going to position size heavier with because the probability is a lot heavier, right? But that's going to happen, and you're going to extend that TP out because the probabilities are that much more healthier. But majority of your trades are going to be your typical cash flow, risking 2.5% risk per trade, if that, right? Shooting for the highest expected value target, and then rinse and repeat if that condition, that probability is still playing out. Right? So right now is a great example. If I expect the highest probability to be sells, right, between 9:30 and 10:15, but we continue to pump, right? That's a live price telling me that your probabilities don't matter right now, and that you should be taking longs. But I shouldn't be just slamming my full portfolio into longs, because that's not the high probability. I should just be taking base hits to the upside.
I'm setting all the invalidation alerts so that way I
I need to get good at doing that.
Off. I think this is a good process, though. This is day one of us. So just to give you guys context, Mickey and I have been forward testing this now for about 3 months?
Yeah, a little bit over 3 months now.
Workflow. Yeah. And so now this is the first week of not only, continuing forward testing our workflow, but actually applying it to an account, actually trading it, not just collecting the net performance. And so I wanted to see today how that went. It's actually pretty good. It's not too bad, but this is a day where we haven't had any Wi-Fi problems, so knock on wood.
That's something that forward test can never figure out, is when the system decides to break, or when it decides to just enter a weird trade or not respect a stop or a TP. It's got to get accounted for.
Second has a good question here. We got 2 minutes till market open. Is foaming out of the mouth the same as a firecracker? So firecracker is just a move that we see when we're stacking in a single direction, second. But when I say foaming at the mouth, I'm just talking about basically just if this setup happens, this is what I'm putting more risk on the trade, because there's a lot more probabilities of it working out, basically. But firecracker is just an environment. I wouldn't say this is this isn't any way, shape, or form a firecracker, because We have stats above, which is 2, 1, midnight, out of stat hive day. And then we also have stats below, which is these levels.
It's when you go directional overnight. So like London would be short true, London would be short true, Asia would be short true. And then like every single overnight probability is left open and never got retraced to during those high probability times. So like Asia OU, highest probable time for it to get retraced is between 3 to 4. London OU 7:30, 8:30, and none of them get hit until market open. All right.
Oh, I have some noise coming at. Is my bad.
Not
Do I have
anymore.
background noise?
You were. It was just like your yard people. But that's gone now.
My bad, guys. I thought I was muted. Michael T, do I get to see the dashboard when I join? Yes. Yes.
You get the dashboard.
When you join
it is yours. It's yours to use.
Yeah.
You get the dashboard, you get candle science, you get the journaling software, you get all indicators, you get everything, and then you get to listen to me teach you about it all. All right, 9:30 is open. Right. Snapping higher.
If you need me to shift to your chart, just let me know.
You're good. I'm just calling it as I see it.
All right, first thing we like to do, if anybody's new here, is I like to measure the 9:30 candle because I get to see how I can define my risk. So if the market open candle is pretty large, meaning like let's say we get like a 0.18% market open candle, it's going to be requiring some sort of larger stop than normal. So I got to decrease my position size. If the market open is pretty small, I can do my normal position size and not have to worry about changing it.
All right, so it looks like he wants to go higher to test those time-based probabilities. Globex, midnight, Asia OU, all that. It's closing pretty bullish. Let's see if we lose it right here, right now, if we break out to the upside. And we're going up.
All right, that's an 07% market open range, guys. That's pretty dope. 08, 07. 45 seconds on this. So yeah, I mean, if we break to the upside by this point, I'll just be looking for about a 0.12 to 0.15% target, just depending on how we close. If we break to the downside, I'll be adjusting targets to whatever these levels are.
All right, so 9:30 to 9:44, I like to break into 3 5-minute candles. You can rip all at once right now, like you not come back into the 9:30 range, and I missed the move, right? But that's okay because I have another 5-minute candle that typically retraces from 9:35 to 9:39, and 9:40 to 9:44. I don't usually like to enter, but like, so you don't. Are you taking this long?
Yep.
Okay. My bad. I just saw it close. I personally will wait. Like I don't feel a need to. Like I'm not saying I'm not going to take the breakout, but like if you get FOMO because you're missing long,
450 is my TP.
Nice. You got plenty. We know markets don't just move up and down, up and directional in one direction, right? So you have time to wait for the retracement and then enter to manage that risk. Now this is a pretty healthy range today, right? We've only the 0.6 was the 9:30 range, right? So we have plenty of room to take this long, even though it seems on the chart that is way outside of the 9:30 box, right? It's still a pretty typical range, right? So to take the long and place your stop below the 9:30.
Yeah, we broke above P12 mid, broke above market open.
Yep.
Shout out to Wags. If you guys see, that's what this gold box is from Wags. He built an indicator that shows the Goldilocks zone.
Yes.
Which is basically just the highest probable. If we break out above market open, we have a 0.1 to 0.3% area that we can create positive price movement off of. And so you guys get to see right here. So I took this long. I'm going to target 0.14% at 875. Why? Because we have a generic 0.1 to 0.3% favorable price movement off of any generic 1 minute close. And then what does that look like in comparison to the statistics at hand with live price? Live price is closing above market open. Bullish check mark number one. Check mark number two is we have statistics above. We have an out of statistic high of day in the time period that we are due to make a new in-stat high of day. And then we also have breaking above P12 mid. So both of these characteristics are telling me that at a minimum, if I'm on the right side of the market and if we're going to stay above market open, then the next high probable checkpoint in price is a new high of day. And if a new high of day is now is due, I want to get a portion of that move as a cash flow driven trader. And so and that's what drives me to take a portion of this overall intended direction, which is a new high of day.
All right, so we're in that zone 2 where we're expecting netting. It's also lining up with the 10 basis points above the 930. Right, so we're going to pay attention to this area right here. We got a new 5-minute candle coming up. Like, does it want to keep cranking out with 3 5-minute candles to the upside, creating one green 15-minute candle, or does it reverse during this time? And if it doesn't reverse, that's okay. Like, our job is to keep targeting longs, right? To support the fact that we can come make a new high a day, and then but also be aware that we like to reverse in this area. All right, new 5-minute candle is the footprint of the previous 5-minute. Right there. Do we blow through it or do we reject it? Retrace back to the 930. All right, the fact that we couldn't make it 10 basis points, right, like it's concerning. The fact that we're rejecting at the second 5-minute candle and from 930 to 945 is not really that concerning, right? All it's telling you, like if we get below 930, it should be really concerning. If you start teetering with 50% and like we can come back to this 930 opening price and be okay and still in the 15-minute red. This was just a retracement. So we just have to be aware of that. Right? Especially since we have a low of the day that's supported.
Yeah, I really like how this market open range is because these are the days that I can really define my risk pretty well. And so even in this example, like I can afford to pay for this trade 2 to 3 times and still get on the right side of whatever movement we're going to do. So like in this example, go back to my screen here. If we break back into market open and I do get stopped out, break into the downside, I can join the shorts because look at how where if we do break down, close below market open, that's also a close below the P12 mid, which is pretty bearish, which then gets me to these levels here. So either I'm on the right side of this trade, we come up and hit the positive price movement we typically do off market open, while also making a new in-stat high of day, and we're on the long true side, or I let my stop loss do the worrying. We pay for the trade, join the shorts to the downside for these levels to the downside.
What's your TP again?
875.25. Or yeah, 874.75.
Okay, cool. So you can see like all that was just a 5-minute retrace to head higher. Now the confirmation of this previous 5-minute high, right? We're still testing that wick of the 5-minute. All right, now let's see if we can take out the 5-minute high, step above 10 basis points, and dig deeper into this settlement, do a complete gap fill. There we go.
Oh, and I forgot to mention we have
settlement
and midnight open right here.
Yeah.
Gunships are currently activated. Go over here. We have Russell. Oh, nope, wrong screen.
Yes, look like it activated. Damn, YM selling off.
Oh yeah, we just
Russell
got
selling off.
we got two TPs hit. We got Russell TP hit, MYM TP hit. I think. Looks like we got some errors going on here. I got to get those fixed. It looks like it's doing pretty well though so far. Yeah.
All right, so it's looking like we might be possibly netting off of that midnight, but we will see. We still got plenty of time to tell.
Oh, TP hit on Bitcoin.
Nice. All right, so not liking this at all. This is a red 5-minute candle, right? And, you know, like we couldn't make it above 10 basis points, right? So that sell could be happening right now, right? Definitely going to be paying attention to this next 5-minute candle. Can it push us down below the 930? Or is this just a typical retracement? We start zooming to the upside, right? But the big obvious is that we're netting in zone 2, right? Can't get above 10 basis points. So like that's pretty. Now, can we make it below 9 o'clock's 50% and 930 low, right? Two of the steps at that point would be for 945 reversal. But let's see. For the ICT based traders in the room, I know you guys are eyeing this breaker right here, right? And saying that like we just wiped out London highs, right? All of that. So like this might be a good trade for you guys to be starting to think about trading.
Yeah, sorry I'm being quiet, guys. I'm just I'm watching all the algorithms, seeing if everything's executing correctly, seeing if TPs are being respected, stop losses are being respected. And it looks like everything's going well so far.
All right, so let's talk about like FOMO of the sell, right? Like we haven't even met two of the criteria yet, right? 9 o'clock's 50 right here, 9:30 is right here, right? And the fact that this will be one humongous wick, right? You're telling me that like 9:45 to 10 can't, if you're looking at the sell, can't come back up into here, and you can reduce your risk a little bit more on green candles to sell it if you are looking to sell. If you're looking to buy, right now is a great opportunity to buy, right? Because you can put your risk right below this 930 low or wherever you might be below P12 mid, right? That will support the buy, right? But like you shouldn't be taking trades just at random spots in the chart, right? That's what destroys your little profit counts. That's what bad traders do.
Bad traders.
Shitty traders.
Bad boy. When you said that, that's what I thought of. Like you you tell him like bad boy, bad trader. Still in this long, guys.
Yep.
Dude, this is pretty relaxing, manually trading and algorithmic trading, because
Yeah, man.
when you take
It's
the
like
manual
best of both
trading,
worlds.
when you take the manual trade, I'm over here distracted just making sure that
Yeah.
the algos are running. What a morning dog has walked. What's up, Jeff? What's going on, bro?
All right, the one thing that we're seeing as this not 15-minute candle closes, right, like, is that we cannot close inside of the 930 range. We swipe back into it, right, and then left it instantly, right? We can't get below 930 low, right? So those are all signs telling you, like, maybe, like, you can put risk on right here for the sells. But, like, right now, live price is not allowing that, right? So live price is supporting the longs right now. Let's see how 944, 945, 15-minute candle does. Right, this is in support of a directional DMP DWP day, not a range 1 or range 2 so far. I usually wait until 10 to 10:15 to make that decision. How many times we swipe the 930 price, like what kind of classification does that support, and what decisions I'm going to make with it.
Another TP hit on gunship.
Nice. That's lovely. Show them off, dude. That's awesome.
And another one. All right, let me, there we go. All right, so breaking down the gunship so far, we've hit, I think if you guys should be able to see my screen. Just to do a quick rundown, we hit TP on natural gas. We are still short for copper. Russell is still short. YM is still short. Bitcoin is still short. We hit TP on copper. Q1 breaks to the downside. We're still short Bitcoin. Hit TP on oil for daily profiler. No trade on gold for the daily profiler. We for the daily profiler for copper, we hit TP and we're short again. And that's it for now. So really, really solid morning so far.
So Arnie, it should be London none broken. All right. Look how many times we're projecting that 10 basis points to the higher, right? He's really trying to get up the midnight price, but he just can't. See if we can do that now. Go to your home.
One thing that we always like to pay attention to, right, is the time of these statistics. So the longer we stay, the longer we stay above market open, the more so the true is, right?
So, finally touched 10 basis point midnight. Can we get a proper gap fill? There's no reason, like right now, like there's nothing telling us they even consider anything other than longs. We're above P12 mid, we're above 930. 5-minute, 15-minute structure is now up, right? Like Let's see if we can get that net in. It'll be obvious if it's time to net, right? And we're coming up on our TP for the longs, right? All is well.
Hey, can you guys, while we're sitting here just watching this trade, can you guys let me know in the chat, do you all prefer this view when you guys are looking at the charts? Do you guys prefer this view? Okay, so just put 1 in the chat if you prefer this view, or put 2 in the chat if you prefer this view. Which one looks better for you guys? Again, 1 in the chat for this, 2 in the chat for this. And then that way I can make sure this is looking the best way possible.
All right. Is this 1 or 2 that we're looking at right now?
This is 2.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I do like 2.
Henry, what are the options? This is 2. Okay, I see a bunch of people saying 2, so okay. I don't even see a single one. All right, we'll stick with 2 then. Cool. Thank you guys.
You know why they're choosing 2?
Why is that?
Two's the shit. And Russell's back to this 930. Did we TP on Russell yet?
No.
Nice. Here, I'll sell some penny stocks real quick. I'll sell some junk. Get us the TP.
I think we're about to get stopped on M2K, so the micro Russell. Same thing with YM. Yeah, everything else looks pretty green.
Nice. We always have to sacrifice a loss for the haters, you know. There you go. You guys were right. We're clowns. There you go. Here's your loss for the day.
Oh man, and I think I made a mistake and something's trading on the sim version instead of daggone it. Yeah. I have a couple trades going on the sim version of the account instead of so on NinjaTrader you can select like your prop account or just a NinjaTrader sim, and I forgot to switch it to the prop account, so we have one trade that's heavily in the green and we're not actually going to realize it because I didn't get it accurately switched over. No big deal. Little cobwebs we got to get fixed. Work out. Did you take this long, Mickey?
No, I haven't taken anything yet. Let's see how we do around P12 high and this high of the day zone.
How'd you guys do this morning? Anybody still trading? Anybody still long, short? What are you looking at? Chitaki done for the day. Nice midnight open profit. Nice.
Yes.
Have a good night, Chitaki.
Me and Shiitake took the same midnight trade.
Zulu gunship long about to be printed. Nice. I think for this 5 minute, we actually did. Let's see here. Yep, it did. So I'm going to leave my target here, actually. I'm going to set it to, I'm going to keep my target set right here at 875. We have, according to the gunship, median MFEs all the way to here at 890. So we're going to actually run this. We're going to run this. I'm going to set it to 879, right below this right below this median right here. So I'm moving my TP to 879.50 because we got a lot of positive MFE here. So 879.50 is right here.
All right, new high day.
And there we go. TP hit.
TP hit.
Let's go, baby. Boom. Let me see it in the chat. What do those people say? What do those cool kids say? Let me see W's in the chat. It sounds super cringy. We need something better. What else can we say that's like W's in the chat but not W's in the chat? That's lame. There's the trade. Sure. There's the trade, ladies and gentlemen. Extended cash flow longs live on stream. Cash flow collected from the gunship live on stream.
Heck
these are the days the haters won't say anything about. They'll wait for us to lose and they'll be like, "Oh, look at that." That's what they sound like.
Drez is mopping the floor with his market. All right.
Drez,
so now,
where are we at in the chat?
I don't know if he put it in there. He just DM'd me. But boy's having like his best day of the year.
Dude, I love Drez. Freaking love you, dude. Done on all accounts. Crypto physio still long. Jesse's flat. Hey, that's fine. Hey, your model didn't appear. Your model didn't appear, dude. Maz King cooked and locked. Carl Hungus 360 holding a single micro runner. Nice. Second previous day high is a good target. Okay, so you're holding until here. Yeah. Well, if for anybody still long, I'd say the final high probable extended target would be this median MFE with the previous day high. Let me wait for it to load. Come on, trading view. Here we go. So you can see we got gunship median. This solid line is median MFE. So if we're going to stay above market open and do the true scenario, we have median MFE here, median MFE here. Okay, cool. Just making sure everything's working. Median MFE here. And then these dotted lines are averages. And so going down back to the 1 minute, where was previous day highs here? Yeah. So I'd say any like super, super high probable extended target anywhere in this box for the final targets. I don't do TP1, TP2. If anybody's new here, I don't really do like scaling out. I'm a one and done TP hit style person. So if I were to do like another position or whatever, or pay myself again, it would be anywhere in this box. So anywhere from 890.50 all the way to 915.25. Nice. Julie done for the day. TP hit. Nice, Reg. Sandy said W anyways. P in the chat. Yeah, we can do that. Let me see the little PPs in the chat. 361, nice. Dave got his, nice. Profit on 2 evals, nice. Good to see here, Brooke. Do you guys hear that when the gunship takes the trade?
No,
When it says order filled, you don't hear
I
that?
don't at least.
I'm glad, because that's super annoying. El Giannis done for the day, going on a cruise with Drez tomorrow. Dude, good job, guys. Drez. If you guys don't know Drez is the heavy hitter in the pack trade group. The dude has earned the title heavy hitter, the C level Pika Pollo creator. Appreciate you being in the group, man. Really good guy. We're coming up on max distribution for the New York session. We have 0.52%, like we talked about this morning. You guys can even see right here, 0.52% distribution gets us to 894.50. So if we are going to lock in an in statistic high of day somewhere around here, we can also see from the gunship MFE perspective, we have from the bottom here to the top here, and then we have the previous day high as the final, statistical level. And so if we added all this up, we basically have this box of probable price movement. And then if we want to lock in an in-stat high of day, what do we have as far as the high of day stats for this configuration?
So for a long false, it's between 0.2 and 0.44, which is right there at the max distribution.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, but we just took out 10 o'clock, took out 9 o'clock high. So there's no reason, no price signatures to even think short yet. Right? There's no reason to be short in the market. Right? You have no live price component telling you to, not even a wolf intraday. Right? We're above previous hour 50%. We can't close below 930. Right? This is why you wait for the 4-step reversal and why you don't try to front run momentum. Momentum's clearly up and to the right, so we can expect 9, 10, 11 to the upside and for a true to happen. That'll get definitely locked in at 10:15. Right? This is the last home stretch for any possible shorts, right? And be okay with it. Like, you guys all caught the longs, right? There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, dude, I took my trade today. I'm okay. Let's go and be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this day was, dude, this is a home run. Freaking gunship is green so far for the day. Across the board, we got manual trading, cash flow hit. I mean, dude, guys, this was a complete live documentation of just, this is what I want my trading to be for the rest of my life. Is I take my manual trades and I let my algorithms fill in the gaps for the rest.
Another dude that's competing with Drez right now is Masking, man. He's taking
Dude, he captured the whole daily freaking candle.
Yeah,
My
like that
God.
dude's up pretty significant today. Very impressive win rate as well. Like he is a master in his system.
Yeah, good job, dude. Good job to all of you guys.
And that's what it's about. Like not doing, like just showing up every day and just bare knuckle fist fighting the markets with your little trade models and like doing what you said you were going to do. Like that's huge. And then after you do that year over year, quarter over quarter, like it gets easy. Then you get to do things like Drez and Maz and, really push your edge. And how you see me and Austin do it every single day, right? Like you understand what your risk profile is. You understand what those drawdown scenarios look like when you go on a consecutive losing streak. You understand what it looks like when you're going on a consecutive winning streak, right? Huge. All right.
I think we do have some bugs, though.
Yeah.
We definitely got some bugs. I'm not going to be able to check until we're off stream, but I think a few trades, it left open the stop loss after the TP got hit.
Oh wow.
And it's holding on to another trade, so I gotta
That's never fun.
Gotta go fix it. Yeah, that's not good.
All right, so we're leaving the 930 range and we're not coming back. So type in the chat what kind of classification that's setting up for.
Come on, that's easy. It's easy.
Softball. Unless we start selling off right now, what is the daily classification setting up for? Damn, yes is above its 930. YM finally got back up. Russell up. All right. Major pivot. Exactly. DMP, DWP style day. And this is supporting like the price movement of a short false or a long true. All right. So make sure you, when you use your high day, low day, like you go off of that.
And yes, exactly what Pocket's saying. For those who don't know what he is asking, join the boot camp. And the boot camp is right here. You guys just seen us execute a couple live trades. And if you want to learn how we did it, why we did it, the context of why we did what we did, join there.
Now the boring part of trading.
Sitting back and just watching. I'm making sure all the targets got hit.
Like yeah, you got to make sure that.
Yeah, the final trades we're in right now is we're in a MYM long. We are in a copper short, a Bitcoin long. Let me see, what else are we in? That's it. Yeah. Final trades of the day. My morning analysis. Danny. Let's shout out a pack member here. So we have Danny. Danny's been in the pack trade group for quite some time now. Apex member. And one thing that I challenged Danny and a couple other people to do is share your war game scenarios with trade ideas. So that way you just like I do every single morning, and you don't have to think about anything else. You don't have to react. You don't have to over analyze the market. You just let the market be the market, and all you got to do is execute the trades when they come. And if nothing comes, you know you've given yourself an abundance of potential ideas, and you just wait for tomorrow. Let your edge reset. So I'm going to go and copy and paste Danny's analysis, and we are going to cross-analyze what Danny said as far as analysis goes, and what did we actually get. So this is straight from, we have pack members that share this in the pack chat, and shout out to them like Wags, Data Breach, Justin, Pock, Danny, shout out to you guys that are consistently doing that. So the first major scenario that Danny outlined is we have an in statistic low of day, which is currently hold on, let me go back to my screen here. There we go. So Danny shared, we have an in stat low of day, which is currently an in stat low of week with an out of stat high. We still are in the lower portion of the P12 with a few red levels below. I anticipated sweeping those and moving higher throughout the day, making an in-stat high of day at or around 9:30 with a range 1. Scenario 1, looking for a sweep to the red levels and then taking a long towards midnight open. Boom. Danny, let me know. How did we execute? Let me know in the chat. How did we execute today following this? Then scenario 2, if we make a new low of day, then I would be using the daily profile and the gunship. Okay, so see, look. So we got, Danny was pretty much the same thing I was looking for. He was either looking for that sweep to the downside and then a break above, or Danny was looking for scenario 1, which is what we did here, where we make a new high of day at market open. So really good analysis this morning, Danny. Danny says, don't worry, I miss as often. And that's fine, right? That's where our risk management comes into play. We let our risk management do the worrying when we're frauds, and we let the statistics do the consistency portion when it's just we show up and target the same thing that has highly reoccurring retracement levels more than they don't every single day. Exponential.
Okay. So we're entering the last 15 minutes of a possible reversal. We're getting quite the sell-off. Well, not really quite. But we're going to see, like, which one is going to be. Is it this the instat high for the next hour, or is this going to be the instat low, right? If this is the instat high, we already started doing the 05 box breakout. We got 10 handles. Couldn't even make it. Well, we got 10 handles exactly, right? So now we're going to see if we come back up into here, right? Reject this 0550, and then can make it to the 9 o'clock 50%, bringing us back down to the 930, possible high of the day scenario, right? But this is where all your risk, if you're short, needs to sit on, because if we breach this high now, that means this was the instat low. That means 9, 10, and 11 will stack higher. and this is not going to be an apex lower, right? So that's the only change right now. We'll see if this isn't that big of a deal because we're still above previous hour 50, right? We couldn't even get below 10 handles to the downside of this 05 box, right? Now we're coming up on a new 15-minute. Does it come up in here, retrace, and then reject, right? Like that, right? That's the only thing that I can see for sellers, right? Because remember, the probability is for this to be a long false. We made a new high a day. If you look at the data, right, you can see that you have dominant high a day between 9:30 and 10:15, right? So if it's going to reverse, you're starting to see some of the characteristics of that right now. But obviously, we don't want to fight momentum. The 4 steps for the reversal are still in play, right, for that. I don't like doing these kind because, like, you know, it's nothing. New 15-minute, can we take out this low, or do we reject this 15-minute footprint right here from here to here and continue heading higher? But this is when data drops off, right? Do we take this high out? Then all data to the downside is done for it, and that low of the day is damn sure confirmed, right? And your job, the 3 o'clock low of the day, is confirmed, right? And your job for the rest of the day is buy the dips, not even consider selling the rips, right? It doesn't mean that we're not going to have dips, but your job is to buy those dips, right? But if we do take out this 15-minute low, then sells are still back on. We just have to have live price confirm it. And then, yep, that's what I got.
Yeah, we had a few trades that did not close. So that's fun. All right. The only other 2 positions we're in is Bitcoin and YM. Yeah, I think by this point it's what, 10-17?
Yeah, statistics to the downside are gone, man. Is a long true or a short false, like either way.
And then this is just one final thing that I like to do, guys. If you guys are watching this, watching our screen, to see where we're kind of are we going to continue this high of day, or are we going to come back down in range? And the first thing that allows me to see is how are we going to print this 10 o'clock hourly candle? And so we know statistically that the first quarter, if I turn these other indicators off so you can see it just a little bit easier. The first quarter of any major hour is going to be a significant higher low most of the time. This 10 o'clock hourly candle gives us even higher statistics that the Q1 is going to make a significant high or low, and then, you know, the opposite will be true. So in this case here, we have a high in Q1. This is the Q1 high. And then you can see in Q2, we took the low right here. And because we took Q2 low, the only thing now that tells me, are we going to keep on going to the upside, is if we come and take Q2 high. Why? Because right now we are in the formation of a potential bearish 10 o'clock hourly candle, meaning this is going to be the wick of this 10 o'clock hourly candle. And we're most likely due for a low in Q3 to Q4, which will be around 10:30 to 11 o'clock. So the second half of this hourly candle. If we come up and take the Q1 high, then this is going to be out of statistic, meaning we don't typically make a low in I'm so sorry. I made the entire Q1. This is the Q1 low. Don't listen to me, guys. I had the Q1 low wrong. This is the Q1 low right here. So we haven't taken either side yet. I thought this was Q1 low. I didn't see this low. My bad. So we're now due in this example to make either a high or a low. So now I'm just going to see, do we come down and take the low? And now then I would just continue exactly what I was saying. If we come down to take this low, then I'm anticipating a bearish hourly candle, which would take us to the downside. If we come up to the upside and take the Q1 high, then I'm anticipating this being the low at 10:13 of the hourly candle. And we're most likely going to make a high in Q3 to Q4. And so if I were looking for any trade ideas, I would be looking to the long side. If we come up here and take this high, so buy the pullbacks. If we come down and take this low, I would be looking for sell the pullbacks back into market open.
Yep. It's looking like it's going to attack that Q1 high.
All right, we're coming up, getting above Q1 to open. We're a few points away from Q1 high. Take that. I'm bullish, and I'm anticipating continuation.
We're above P12 mid. We're above 930. There's absolutely no reason. Boom. There it is. Q1 low. Like nothing at all is telling you to sell the market. Right? We don't care about. Cool. The highest probability was to sell the market, but did we ever see a reason to sell the market? Right? That's what it means to align live price with historical data. Cool. I got it. Like, yeah, we mostly sell under these variables. Yay. But the market sat here and told you all day, don't be a tard and sell the market, right? Right? Buy the market, right? That's what you got to do.
All right, guys. If I could ask you all for a very quick favor, we like to always try to get this stream out to as many people as possible. One reason we switched back to YouTube instead of Discord was for that very reason, so we can start to see and reach out to what we're trying to do. Just showcase realistic trading using statistics with realistic expectations of price. There is the link to the tweet. If you guys could go to that tweet, like it, reshare it, whatever you guys want to do. Just a little recap for what we did this morning off the long off market open. Shared it there in the chat in case anyone missed the QR code for the boot camp. There you go. Pocket shared the link to the WAP page if you guys want to join the boot camp coming up October 18th. The last half of the main part above the scenarios you missed. What are you talking about, Danny? Well, how did we do today, Danny? Give me a rundown. Give me a quick synopsis. Oh yeah. I was just trying to hone in on the analysis portion, Danny. That's all. All right, guys. Shifting back here to the chart, you guys can see we took Q1 high. So now I'm anticipating, and what this is telling me. Also, another cool thing is I posted this, and you can go on my Twitter and see the highlights. So let's actually do this. This is actually pretty cool. Pocket, if you're in here, can you note down the timestamp of this recording? Because I want to get this actually into a video. Right here. So I'm actually going to share my whole screen. Here we go. All right. So if you go on over to my Twitter, right here, at AC_trades_YT, and go to the highlights section, you can see I posted this on September 9th. It was a cool little way that you guys, in a very simple way, how to read a 4-hour candle with the quarters that you guys see me do here with the hourly. So if we break down exactly what I say, we can put this on top of live price and go over it. So things to draw out, just the high and the low of the 10 to 11 o'clock hour, which is for a 4-hour candle, Q1 would be 10 to 11. For an hourly candle, for the 10 o'clock hour, the Q1 would be 10 to 10:15, right? So fractally, if the Q1 is going to be the high or low for the hour, it'll also work the same way for the 4-hour. So if you guys that are in the recording and then watching this for the first time, if you want to do this as an exercise, literally just map out when the 10 o'clock hour is done, map out the high and the low of the 10 a.m. candle for the Q1, and then also the opening price of 10 a.m. And all you're going to do, and you can see an example here, is you're going to wait for one side of this hourly high to be taken. Either you're going to wait for the Q1 low, which would be 10 to 11's low, to be taken, or you're going to wait for the 10 to 11 high. So in this example here, you can see we came up, we got above the Q1 open. Okay, that's your signal. And then the confirmation is getting above the Q1 high. So in this case here, what we see is, let's just assume, now we could keep on going to the upside, but just for demonstration purposes, let's assume this high remains and then this is the low. So if at 11 o'clock we take the high of 10 o'clock and then we're also above the opening price of 10 a.m., this is 10 a.m. If we're above the 10 a.m. open, that's objectively bullish, number one, because we're accepting above the previous hour's opening price. Okay, we're creating a bullish hourly candle of some shape or form. We're accepting above this hour, the previous hour. That's signal number one. Signal number two is the confirmation, which is taking the previous 10 o'clock's high, because then that's giving us confirmation that this could be the low of not only this hour, but then for the going on into the PM session of the 1400 hour, from 10 a.m. to 1400, which is the 4-hour candle completion, this can be the low. All right. And so you guys can use that to kind of see, okay, if I'm trading a 4-hour candle of some kind, if I'm trading the transfer between the AM and the PM session of New York, a lot of people I know really put a lot of emphasis on the 4-hour candle. And so I thought, well, how can I kind of make this in a simplified way for people just to kind of, read that? And this is how I put together just this little guide. It's very small. Okay. You don't have to go crazy in reading. And this breaks it down. So you can do that today, but fractally, we're doing that on the 1-hour candle, okay, which is the same thing. We're noting down the Q1 high, which in this case is here. Once we took the Q1 high at 1021, we're now due for a new high in Q3 to Q4. How do we do this within also the high of day and low of day statistics? Well, we know that this low down here at 324, we know this is a good in statistic low of day. We marked this all the way back at the beginning of the stream. We knew that this was an out of statistic high of day. And so if we get above the P12 mid and obviously the RTH open, we know to then target the P12 high, which is also an out of statistic high. And if you want further clarification into what I'm talking about with that, on over to my Twitter right here, pinned on my wall, whatever the heck this is. You can actually go over and watch this video. I made a 23-minute long video literally going over exactly what just happened today, where we have an out of statistic high, we have statistical levels above price, and so now we're just due. Oh, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. One of the trades on the gunship didn't it didn't close it, so I had to go and close it. There we go. Okay, what was I saying? So we have an overall statistical direction. In this case here, we had midnight open, we had an out of stat high of day, we had settlement, we had Globex, we had all these statistical levels right here. And that's exactly what we go over in this video here. And then how can I, as a cash flow driven trader, just take a portion of the overall intended move? And now moving into the rest of the day, how do we read live price with statistics? Well, if this low of day is going to be the low of day, if we're bullish on the day because we're above the RTH open and we're actively exchanging new highs of days for out of statistic highs of days, what's the next checkpoint in the high of days? Somebody let me know in the chat. What is the next checkpoint in the high of day with the current variables that we have? What is the final time for us to make a high of day? Somebody let me know. Missed the midnight open. I was doing dishes, took a couple yeah, I missed the midnight open. I was talking too much. Boom, Chris George. Yep, sorry. There's an awkward latency in the YouTube, so I gotta like sit here and twiddle my thumbs until somebody shoots. But there you go. You guys got it. End of day. So now we can sit here and say, okay, well, if we're due for a new high of day by end of day, then what does that look like by us just normally trading? Well, normally trading within the intraday. Now let's break this down to the hour. If I was bullish at any reason, I would wait for Q1 high of the hour to be taken to confirm that, okay, now I have the hourly candle on my side to join the long side, right? We still have an out of statistic hourly high right here. We don't typically make the high in Q2. So we're now due for a new high in Q3 to Q4 minimum. Out of stat high. Let me make sure we are in no more. There we go. Okay, we're in no more positions. We only have one more trade. Yeah, okay, so we're only in one more trade for the day on the gunship, and that is YM longs. All right, so because now we have that context that the final high of the day is potentially the end of the day, then now we can use these quarters, previous hour mids, 05s, bullish distributions. We can use the tools that we have within the group to now get us into the continuation of this movement. And so now going into the next quarter, going into the next hour, what am I going to be looking for and keeping my eyes open for? Number one, I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for the fact that are we above the previous hour midpoint? So whatever the high and the low we make for this 10 o'clock hour, are we respecting and staying above that midpoint? Number one. Number two, are we respecting the hourly Q, the quarter high or low? So going into the 11 o'clock hour, I would wait for the first 15 minutes to form the high and the low. And then let's say we take the low. If we're doing something like this and we take the low, then I'm expecting this to be a bearish hourly candle to retrace back into the previous hour mid, which will be somewhere around here. Let's just assume this is the high. I don't know yet. Then I would be anticipating a retracement back into the previous hour mid. And then this previous hour mid is going to tell us, are we going to keep on going higher, making out of statistic quarterly candle? Or are we going to keep on retracing back to the downside to make a Q3 low to Q4 low, retracing back into market open, where we have showed you guys this is that apex movement. This is the range 2 style movement that we like to do. Or do we do the flip side? Do we take the Q1 high going into the 11 o'clock hourly candle while also taking the 10 o'clock high, getting above the 05, which is the first 5-minute high and low of the hour, getting bullish distribution. And then if we take the Q1 high, I would be anticipating buying the pullbacks for a new Q3 to Q4 high. That's what I see. Mickey, got anything else before we wrap it up here?
No, man, I'm good. Just keep buying the dips and riding the flow with the obvious.
What's the TP on the YM longs? Let me get that up here. Actually, I think I'm sharing my whole screen. You should be able to. Yeah, there we go. Here you go. So this is the gunship for YM. So the TP is 593 right there. Do we want to see if we get this last minute push for the gunship? Let's see. This will be an above average cash flow day if this YM hits TP. Put that over there. Anybody have any other final questions before we wrap it up here for the people inside the pack trade group? We are actually, so this is something we've just now kind of started, is we have almost every major session covered. Starting at London, we have a London trader, Bowie. He comes in and trades the London Open. Then we have Mickey come on and do his pre-market, early market wargaming analysis. Then we have, or if it's during the boot camp, his boot camp classes. Then we have the Magic Hour led by Carl, Drez, and Eldianis. And they trade during the pre-market, so 6:30 to 8:20. And then you guys have me come on with Mickey, and we trade the New York Open, kind of give our war game analysis and the trades you guys seen us take. And then here soon, we're going to have the gunship, obviously, doing more gunship stuff implemented into what we're doing. And then, oh, there we go. So you guys just seen that live.
Let's go.
Gunship above average cash flow day, baby. But then here soon, we're going to have Cody, Pack Trades, and PTFX live trading within the Pack Trade group from now, actually 10:30 to around noon. Then we have Justin, our future PM full-time Pack trader, trade the PM session. Then we move into a free re-engineering session from 4 p.m. EST to around 5 p.m. EST. Jay Morris, how do I join the pack and get the updated indicator? So first and foremost, you're going to make sure you're in the Discord so you get all the alerts and stuff. So that's this QR code right now. So I'm going to go do it slow because I know there's a little bit of a latency in YouTube. So this is the QR code to join the Discord. Step number one is joining the Discord. So that way you have you get all the information. So that way, if you don't have to rely on this stream to communicate, you can submit a ticket and communicate with us if you have any issues. And then step number 2 is once you're in the Discord, but you can also do that right here on stream, is you join the wait list for the Pack Bootcamp. Now, the reason why we don't just let anybody and everybody join the pack trade group right away is because we would be spending a lot of times teaching during the live sessions instead of just focusing on what we need to focus on, which is the markets. And so we now have a formalized boot camp. That's a 3-month process led by the guy you see here, my partner, Mickey. And he teaches you guys from A to Z, all the way from just all the statistics we use, the tools, how to quantify it, build your own business plan from it, all that stuff in between. So that way, then if you want to join our live trade sessions and continue using the tools that you learn, you then are able to join the pack trade group. So you get access to the tools during the boot camp and learn how to use them. And then you continue using them and seeing us live trade with the tools Monday through Friday by being in the pack trade group. Where's your stop loss? Let's go, baby. Let's go. So this is a pretty successful day. This is if you guys see my screen, this is the Ninja login right here. So the gunships today made a net 657 on the day. We literally, the algorithm made almost more. Well, it did make more. It made more than what I did manual. And then my manual trading did really great today. And so now this is just a home run freaking day across the board. I mean, home run day. I'm so glad we got to capture that. This is the first major day that we got to do the gunship, and Mickey and Josh, they kept getting on to me. They're like, Austin, just let's do the streams on YouTube. Let's just do something to get the ball rolling. And I kept telling them, I was like, I just want to get the gunship done. So I bit the bullet. We started streaming 2-3 weeks ago now. And now we finally have the gunship edition to the streams, and it's going to be a little bit more involved as we kind of get the bugs and everything fixed, to where when we have Pack TV up and running, it's going to be, when we're done streaming, it's going to be streaming in the background. So if you guys want to continue watching how it works, how it trades, what it looks like when it's running, all that type of thing, we'll have that running in the background when we have Pack TV fully up and running.
Yes, sir. Let's go. What a good Monday.
Great Monday, dude. Great Monday. Great stuff. Thank you, FNC. Thank you, Mihel. Drez, first day here. So what makes a false again? I mean, it's when a Pico meets the Poyo.
Pico meets the Poyo. That's awesome.
Also for the Pack members and boot camp graduates, Pack merch is going to be opening back up when the boot camp graduates in a couple weeks. So we opened it up once before, and an initial chunk of people in the group got a bunch of stuff like hoodies and coffee mugs and stuff like that. So if you guys want some, it's going to be coming available again. We're actually going to see if we can try to add a new design as well. And yeah, so that's going to be coming. If you guys, usually I think Wes likes to keep the window open like 3 or 4 weeks. So there'll be like a 2 to 3 to 4 week window. Pack merch. Yeah. Like hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, that type of stuff. You guys see the sweatshirt you see me wearing on stream? Ship it to Europe. Yeah, he ships to Europe. I think he ships almost everywhere. Pretty sure. And you have Mickey's classic dog snoring.
Yep. As mandatory. We do not take good trades. We do not take any trades unless there's 4 dogs snoring in the background. That's our risk manager.
So now we're just updating my chart here. We had an out of statistic high. You guys got to see this again live, how we call statistics with live price. So this was an out of statistic high for this hourly quarter. but then we came up, and now we've made the second highest in-stat high of hour, I should say, in-stat hourly high. And so obviously the highest statistic.
We lost you. Where'd you go? Austin, are you there?
At least he waited till the end of the stream.
Yeah. Let's see if he jumps back on. All right, he says he's coming back. His Wi-Fi went out. Oh, you guys got my strain, right? So do you see why it's important? Like that first 15-minute candle, right? We took out the high at 10 o'clock, right? This is your 9 o'clock 50%, right? We could not even come close to it, right? So this whole dramatic sell-off was just to plant that Q1 low, right? So the 4-step reversal continues to lead it up and to the right, right? Even from that, right, like a couple other things, 05 breakout to the downside was only, what, 10 handles? Not even, right? Instant recovery, reversal, stepping above the P12 mid. Like the first push got way above 10 handles, so you can expect 10 basis points, right? Quarter stacking perfectly up and to the right. Depending on what this next 15-minute candle does, if we keep pushing higher, we can expect that third-hour effect in the 11 o'clock time frame. No shorts were hurt during the operation of the 9:30 to 10 o'clock, right? Even though I hope this was like eye-opening for a lot of you guys, just because the probabilities were that we should go long fast, right? At no point did we ever step below 9:30 price to give us any excuse to take this short, this New York AM, right? So we had to like anchor ideas on short false being correct and that one tick wonder holding, or a long true, right? Because these quarters are going straight up and to the right, you can see clearly, right, the difference between a long true, right? These are just respectable quarterly lows, quarterly highs, quarterly lows, quarterly highs for the long true versus the short false, right? Which would have given you a pullback in a range during that 10 o'clock time frame. So we know that we're anchoring our thoughts on the long true being correct. Hopefully that makes sense. Austin, where are you, weirdo? And then this Q1 low, this 935, always good for buying the dips. And just because we're expecting a third-hour effect during the 11 o'clock, right? Our first eye always goes to this 50%, right? Do we sell off the first 15 minutes, bounce off of this 50% to head higher, right? Or is this going to be a DMP, DWP style day? If it's DMP, we should hold this 50%. If we're expecting DWP, we're going to start that range here shortly. We've already spent our New York 1 distro, so if we suck back into the range, we'll just sweeper on the 11 o'clock, make a Q1 high. We don't expect us to sell the farm or anything, but we do expect that afternoon range until end of day for a new end of day higher day. Austin, are you back yet, you weirdo? All right, so this is the time where we get to say anything we want about Austin.
I know he said a quick WTF in the chat and DM, so I don't know if there's an issue on his end.
Freaking beautiful longs.
Here he comes, I think. Although he's showing up as me, that's one problem with this restream. Austin, is that you?
Hello, hello.
There you are.
Hey, buddy. He's back, everybody. All right, this is the time where we cannot talk shit about Austin anymore.
There we go. Okay. It was giving me your profile. All right, cool. I'm back.
But like I was saying, either way, like your job is to buy the dip, not sell the rips. Right? There's no reason to be selling rips right now. Price is never giving you anything. If anything, it shows you weakness. Can't get below 10 handles off the 05 box. Cody's little market structure got stopped out instantly, right? Everything's pointing to, your job is to buy the dips, right? There's no reason that you should be doing both.
Yep. If you guys just seen it, we just, guys, I mean, this is statistics happening right in front of your faces. We're now due for we just did the highest potential thing that we do is we make a low in Q1, high in Q4. Just did that right here. This is the
supported
highest.
By an end statistic low of the day, supported by stepping above P12 levels, like so many obvious signatures.
So now what I would be looking for is going into the 11 o'clock hour as we wrap things up here. I would measure the high and the low of the first 5 minutes of 11 o'clock. I would find the midpoint of whatever 10 o'clock hour is going to do. And then for the pack side, if you guys have bullish entry aids on your chart, I would wait for either a bearish or bullish to confirm. If we get below 05, I would be anticipating price to retest the midpoint of the previous hour. And then if we break the previous hour, a range 2 back to market open. If we get above the 05 for the lunch or for the 11 o'clock hour and we get bullish entry aids or bullish distribution, I'd be anticipating higher prices. So that way we do a DMP, DWP style New York 2. And that's what I see.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up, Mickey?
No, brother. That's it.
All right, guys. Another good session in the books. Cash flow collected live. And now cash flow collected algorithmically as well for the day, starting off the week. Hope you guys had a wonderful rest of your day. Hope you guys got something of value from this stream. And if you did on your way out, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. And also click that, for those of you that are already subscribed, click the notification bell and you'll get notified within 5 minutes, I think it is, before the live streams happen. We do live streams every Monday, 8:20 a.m. EST. And then here every Friday, 8:20 a.m. EST, we're going to be doing a wargaming session for about 15, 30 minutes. And then we'll go live with our community in the Discord. So if you guys find any value in all that, join the links in the description and join the Discord. And with all that being said, stay grinding on your freaking goals and never, ever, ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something they never done themselves. I'll see you guys there. Bye, everybody.
Later.